So how's it going?
We know there was it's one of
first about one that's what it's done for about years ago okay. And unfortunately, the area has a population all you're doing is you're not. You got a chance to by then. Around there.
Joe, hi, I'm Chris. Nora.
Over there.
Yeah, we closed.
We're getting there, folks. I'm gonna quick say, just a little bit, Conan Bearcub's about to do his talk, and we're going to do an honor song, and just let him jump right in there. If you will, please honor. Thank you.
Since the beginning, one thing that's been important for all indigenous people around this planet are symbols. It's been kind of the foundation of everything, and it's an unspoken language that becomes important for the way energy moves and the way the people function. And so I always like to go backwards. I lost all my visuals. So,
Oh, you just can't see his visuals over there. Thanks, Willow. Right there into it. There we go.
Since which goes back 6,000 to 7,000 years, that the people, the mound builders, built huge mounds, huge mound sites around symbols. And some of these symbols were related to, for example, the circle and square, which is the most basic symbol there is, but one of the most important ones that exists. And so for 6,000, 7,000 years, the people lived with the symbol of the circle and the square. They built huge mound sites surrounding these things. This is one of the earliest ones there is. Goes back 1,000 years before the pyramids. This is another one where they actually use the triangle, the circle, and the square all in one thing. So it became immensely important to the people right from the very beginning about the symbols. And if you look at the Eastern people, they were also, I believe that symbols were important as well, in fact, through the entire culture, right? And so, the circle and square has a lot of meaning to it. And so they would build these huge 28-acre mound sites, with the circle and the square, and people lived inside of it, so they never forgot it for a second and what it was about. Here, the circle going around the outside of the square means the connection to the universe, the connection to spirit. The inner circle, the circle inside spirit means the inner circle, the things that are important to the inner planet. The Egyptians believed that this was just as important. These ancient symbols. What they did was they built pyramids in order to honor these. And what I realized is that they were one of the same as us, that they saw the world in exactly the same way as we did. They saw a world of symbols, and so they got a whole vocabulary of symbols called hieroglyphs. And they based everything on these symbols that were important. And this is something that has been forgotten out here in this world, out here in this world beyond resignations and the dysfunction in the cities, lost their ancestors and lost that understanding about that connection to spirit and symbols and those important ancient ways. Now they're lost in the material world out there, trying to find it one more time, once again. One of the things I was gifted on my journey in the past 20 years that I've been working with crop circles and some of these startups, is I was gifted some of the secrets of the pyramids. And I'm going to start to unfold some of those things, and I want to show you the connection between that and maybe what I'm thinking as well. This pyramid called the Med Pyramid was a pyramid that the archaeologists and Egyptologists believe was a mistake. That they thought it was the very first one, and that they truncated the top so that it would be inward so that it wouldn't collapse. And so that's what that's been the stated belief since that time. And when I looked at it, I realized it was much more going on than what met the eye. And that what the pyramid was all about was a symbol over the top of it. We don't use that too much in a negative way of thinking, but to a group of people called the Masons, and that's called the compass. And it's what draws the circle, the spirit. And so it's the main thing, it's the energy doorway to the pyramid. And so there's a common thread between all these ancient ways like that. Like each Egyptian saw the spirit the same way as we do here in North America, on the reservations. So we hear spirits to such a degree that we refer to them as the people. So this would be like the Hawk Nation people, the Paladin Nation people, the Wolf Nation people, like that. And the Egyptians saw it exactly the same way. They revered the spirits of their region the same way. And so they would even call them maybe even dressed as people. So it would be like For example. Yes. Anubis. You see how he's dressed as a person, and made as a person, the same way. He carries an energy that was important to all the people there. And they had many different spirit helpers that helped them on their journey. This is Iris, they called him Thoth. He was a spirit helper that helped them on their pathway. It's the same as spirit, it was not a difference. You see, Horus, the falcon, very important to those people's ancient ways. So the circle and square is actually a three-dimensional form. I thought this is a beautiful diagram that showed the energy behind these two things. You know what the square has to do with it? The square is kind of a material world. It's kind of ignored among the indigenous communities. It's something you want to kind of stay away from. The edge of the square is a line, which has that which has beginning and end. While the circle is that which has no beginning and end. And so that's the way to understand these two polarities that exist in the universe. And we have to function between them, find harmony with in our world all the time. What I would like to do is show you how the Egyptians had some very special secrets that were hidden inside the pyramids since the beginning. And what it took in order to make those discoveries one at a time was architects being able to dimensionalize those things out again so that you could see what actually exists. So this is called the Bend Pyramid. And so it shows the red part actually doesn't exist. It's actually truncated across, bent inward. So with the very tip is where it would have gone and then go all the way up. Well, in the vision was why it was actually built where it was, why these pathways went through the pyramid the way they did. So what I saw in very simple way was that it was based on the energy of a 5-pointed star. And so if you look closely, the foundation of that pointed star is like the foundation of the pyramid. An example follows the everything perfectly. You see? But there's a second entrance into this particular pyramid, which is based on the 7-pointed star. As you see that, as the foundation of the star steps against the ground, it follows the interval to the pyramid. And so they were built on a polarity to each other. They're actually opposite stars. The 5-pointed star is a one way to understand that is that it's the way we enter the earth form. It's the 4 elements of which are made: earth, wind, fire, water, and spirit. And so it usually refers to the spirit of the motion and the way we enter the earth. While 7, one way of understanding 7 is completely all is. You see? Like that. And so the entire pyramid was actually based on the 5-pointed star. So if you look closely, what I've done is I've taken the core of the 5-pointed star, pentagram of the 5-pointed star, and I've placed one edge of that star at the very top, and the point on the base of the pyramid, and you see how it follows the line of the interways so perfectly. It also finds the bends of the pyramid very perfectly. So it was very intended to be based on the 5-pointed star, and it was the beginning energy of the pyramids. What I discovered is that each one of the pyramids followed a sequence. That the Bend Pyramid was the first authentic pyramid. The Red Pyramid was the next one. It was based on the 6-pointed star, and the Great Pyramid, the third one, was based on the 7-pointed star. That they were planned from the very beginning to follow a sequence. But what it is a path of truth spirit. Much in the same way, the circle and square is important in the native way of thinking. Each one of these stars were important in the pathway of understanding the nature of spirit. And it was a complete pyramid built surrounding this one energy form the 5-point star, the 6-point star, and 7. I'm going to show you a quick animation that kind of shows how that plays out. It goes something like this. So, So all this was built on complete star language, designed to assist the people to higher understanding their connection to spirit, their connection to sacred mind. That's what all this dimensional energy is behind the pyramid, is developing sacred mind. It has to be the sacred body. It represents the physical qualities of everything that exists. But out there in this world, it doesn't really exist. In the native way of people go to the top of the mountain to do ceremony. The Egyptians believed in pyramids. The Hindus had temples. But out here, it really hasn't been. So, about 12 years ago, a vision came my way about building a special structure designed to assist the people in this world to understand something that's beyond the material world, to crack the door on understanding the nature of spirit in their way. Because what's important to understand, we understand this, But who's important to really understand this? Isn't it the people out there that have the 6-digit jobs, that work in these banks, and don't have an inkling of spirit whatsoever? They sit out there and the road goes in a good way. They walk with integrity and honesty, and they try to walk a hard path, and maybe they go to a church and not, But basically, the road goes real smooth. And somebody says we need to be in the Word and Iraq, then cool, let's do that, And so that's just kind of the way it goes. But I had a vision of creating a temple that allows these type of people to awaken these elements that are beyond the physical world in their own way, in their own timing, through their own process. And so in this vision, this vision came when I saw this crop circle in 1999. And rather than seeing a series of squares on the ground, what I saw was a pyramid structure. And that pyramid structure moved beyond, and I realized that it was something that was maybe meant for the people to help them on their journey to understand these other qualities and other elements. And so with some help of some mathematicians and architects began to build the idea behind building the structure to help these people. A temple, a pyramid temple that people could go to all over the country to do whatever they want to do, to meditate, to understand. Maybe they're just trying to solve a problem in the world. But it's a place they can go to do that. They don't have that out there. There's nothing going on for people to say, hey, I got to go to those pyramid and think. That's what I got to do. You see? And so with these architects, we started building special structures and special designs to create this pyramid structure. And I really believe that it needs to begin right here, that with the start of knowledge, people who understand how important all this really is. You understand it. Those people have not had the eyes. They haven't been able to open up their sacred eyes to see that there's something more to understand. They haven't been able to do that. And so it's invisible to them. And they have no door to see it. But when you go into an incredible structure like this, then new doorways will open up. And new awakenings can happen for these people. And if it's just a tiny thread, it's still waking up. But it can change the planet. And the planet needs a little bit more help right now than what it's getting. There needs to be more spirit, more sacred mind entering into the circle among these people out there. Because it's just, new people are coming on board to spiritual paths, but twice as many people aren't at the same time. So there needs to be something else that can help them, and I believe that this can do that. Beneath this pyramid structure we were building star-glyphs designs, planted in flowers and or carved in many different ways, but to show these different star-glyph symbols that have been coming to the earth since last 20 years. What I've referred to when I talk about star-glyph symbol, I'm referring to crop circle symbols. The Star Nation people began to send these symbols to the earth to help the people. And there's a few people that begin to look at them and say, hey, this is important, and recognize it. But most of the world out there thinks it's not anything. A lot of people think it's just a hoax. But they were a gift from our relatives, from brothers from another world, from another place, trying to help our planet out, understand something that's beyond this physical world. It was given to the people out there for everyone to understand it. But that door has been slow to open. And this project has all through it these star glyphs so that people can look at them and see them and refer to them themselves and come to understand something that's a little bit deeper in meaning. Maybe their son will say, hey, Dad, what does that mean? As soon as they ask that, they're in trouble. So it's going to answer. It's going to be a little different answer than what we would typically answer for questions for the son. So, but inside of it are things like this. Where people can dive into to understand these higher concepts of spirit like that, like this. A beautiful series of gardens designed to help people on their pathway. Does that have to worry to be a part of it? Don't have to do anything. But if you're a teacher, if you understand the nature of spirit, you can take people into a temple like this and use it as a tool to help expand everything to a higher order. But you first have to understand that something like that's important to be able to do it, right? And so, and there may be people just coming in for the first time who don't get it, but really touched by it. We seem touched by what they see, go, wow, this is like, And so all through it are these sacred dimensions of different symbols that awaken people's spirit. You know what's happening in the crop circle community out there? Is people are forgetting about it. They're getting lost. I went back here a couple of years ago to look at a really important star group. And I knew the Star Nation people had seen this, and that it was incredibly important. And I went back into the website that houses that to look to see how many people might be looking at that. You know how many people were looking at it? One, and that one just me because I just opened it up. And so we're getting lost and getting forgotten. So this beautiful sacred language given by our brothers is going to get lost, washed into the internet and lost forever because nobody did anything with it. That's kind of the road it's on right now.
I'm trying.
I know we're all trying, aren't we? I know we're trying. And so it's about bringing these symbols in like that, to present them in their quietness, in their silent beauty, just to open up that quality of spirit that can lift somebody up just a little bit more than what they are right now. You see? Take them up to just a little bit higher level. That's all we really need to do. It'd be all through it like that. Recently, something like that. Recently, I've been trying to get this going for a long time, and I've done a lot of presentations just surrounding this. And recently, some people came on board, who've been part of the Star Lodge Conference too, but really believed in the project and told me that we believe we have the crew that can make it happen. And they told me that one of these people is a manager for Walmart back in Wisconsin. Another person does documentaries all the time for PBS. And he wants to do one for the Chameleon Project and some other visions that are there. Another one works with investors all the time and said, well, I'm an investor that would love this. And this guy has got more money than most small countries too. And so it's beginning to happen. It's beginning to open up. And what I want to show you, if I can find it here, is I had a vision of going around the country and creating these star glyphs and creating a mandala of star glyphs that the people would come out and help create and be a part of, and huge on the ground, done in different types of modes like flowers or but it would be like a workshop, a weekend workshop, and then creating this huge mandala star glyph so that there we go, to assist so that the people could see what the importance behind these and see what they can do and be a part of it. So this particular star glyph is the one I chose to start with because I believe that a lot of people can relate to the five-pointed star. They're not too intimidated by it. There's some star glyphs out there that have powerful meaning that go deep into the spirit and the edges of the universe. And a lot of people aren't going to get right off the bat, but that are absolutely magical. But we're going to start with something simple like this, and I've created this into a mandala that could be created out on the ground for people to see. And as luck would have it, this whole venture started because of a video I had received. And just a 3-minute thing I'm going to show you. It's from some Spanish people down in Oaxaca, Mexico, who every year create a mandala at a place called the Festival of Flowers. And it brings the community together as one. It brings the kids into the picture, and they create this beautiful image for their town down there. And it's awesome, and it's exactly what I'm wanting to do with this start with. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it means. So the start with this particular one, what's kind of not so obvious. See the dot at the center and the circle around the star? That's a very ancient native symbol, actually. It's also a Buddhist symbol because these overlap. In the native way of thinking, that circle and dot means it's like a symbol for the sun. And it means the ability to see. And sometimes it's a symbol for the earth, depending on how it's used. And sometimes it's a symbol for the people in perfect harmony. It goes back about 5,000 years to the Buddhists. They have this symbol and they describe the circle as being the everything, while the dot at the center is the nothingness, the emptiness from which everything emerges. And then the petals going around the outside, doesn't that feel like a sunflower? Right? Yeah. Five-pointed star has many different meanings. One of them is like the 5 senses. But as soon as you define these things, you bring it to its ultimate limitation. You know, it's not about defining what they mean. It's about understanding the energy behind them and feel the spirit in them so they take it to a higher level. See? Here's Sasuke wearing a 5-pointed star in 1905. In the morning, he would wear it pointed up. In the afternoon, he would turn it upside down in honor of the evening star. Recognizing the harmony and balance that exists in our universe. Nature shows the 5-pointed star everywhere. It helps, just the natural qualities of nature helps us remember those things all the time. Even though you don't really know it physically, it's always there. There's a 5-pointed star flower. How about a starfish? They exist everywhere around us all the time. Maybe color's important. In the sunflower, it's kind of hard to see a little bit, so focus, but there's a spiral that exists within it called Fibonacci spiral, and all of the natural qualities of the universe flow in perfect symmetry with that flower. It exists on the back of a pine cone, it exists in the center of a sunflower, many different places in nature that actually exists. A cone shell from the ocean. All these different places reflect these qualities of the spirit naturally, but people have forgotten how to recognize those. And so this one little formation will help remember, help awaken all those things. And people go, oh yeah, here's some truth that I can know now. What I want to do is show you this animation about what I would like to do in creating one of these star grids out of the weekend workshops. And I'm hoping to get the support of all of the Star Knowledge community to help enlighten people, to explain it to them as you see it, because people aren't going to know, and it takes people who know to bring it forward. And so this little animation is the guy speaking Spanish. I only speak Russian, Whale, and what he's doing is explaining the Festival of Flowers. And that this was passed down from his father, from his grandfather to him, to his father, and now to him. And they make this every year. And so this is what I'm wanting to do with this. I'll show you. So,
Soy Alejandro Lira, maestro alfombrista de la ciudad de Huamantla, hijo del maestro alfombrista Pepe Lira. Huamantla es una ciudad alfombrista cuya organización está preparada para hacer alfombras y tapetes. Como tal, hemos venido a hacer una alfombra, que es una muestra de arte colectivo, aquí al Parque de Xochitla, conmemorando la Dalia como flor nacional de México, y hemos elaborado esta alfombra con elementos naturales del mismo parque, como son rodajas de árbol, hojas secas, algo de viruta y pasto que se obtienen de este mismo lugar y que posteriormente de levantarse la alfombra serán nuevamente transformados en patrones. El color proviene, tiene que ver con el concepto de la Dalia flor nacional que salió hace más de 3 siglos en México y se propagó por el mundo. Ha dado pie a una gran cantidad de variedades que se han desarrollado en diferentes lugares. Cada dalia tiene un color en particular, una forma en particular que hemos tratado de presentar en este gran mandala, pero que conserva aún su estructura geométrica basada en 8 pétalos y 8 líneas. Nosotros hemos tratado de presentar cada una de esas variedades, las más significativas, y como un gran centro de este mandala, la flor original, la dalia de México, una dalia de colores amarillos, cálidos, de 8 líneas. Desde niño, con mi familia, con mi padre, en Huamantla tenemos la costumbre de ayudar a hacer algo, de asistir al maestro alfombrista con mi papá, y posteriormente, en la muerte de papá, he sido yo quien ha tomado el lugar como maestro alfombrista, pero con todo el apoyo primero de mi familia, de mis amigos, de mis vecinos y de la comunidad, con los cuales se hace el alfombrismo. Lo más valioso del alfombrismo para mí es que es una expresión natural de una comunidad que expresa de manera artística su fe, sus tradiciones, su cultura, que es un arte que se adapta al momento que estamos viviendo, a las circunstancias, a la economía de las personas, y que es totalmente incluyente y tolerante. El alfombrismo incluye al más pequeño o al más viejo, al que tiene o al que no tiene. La intención es podernos organizar, trabajar en equipo, trabajar en armonía y poder expresarnos con la comunidad en estas obras artísticas.
And so as these are being created around the country, it's you that will have the understanding about what to do with that, what to tell people if they say, hey, what do you think that has to do with it? To start out with people, you have a voice to understand. And so this is the first, I've created this one first mandala. This is the first one that I would like to make somewhere. A friend of mine, Nancy Alba, who's a Spanish gallerist in Phoenix, is contacting this guy down in Mexico, and he wants to do here to show him how to make these different things. And I want you to join to make different start with this kind of way. And perhaps maybe some money after a start knowledge conference, we can make one right here. And so create a mandala. So anyway, that's my story. Let's get into it. Kevin, it's still a version of this, I gave you some other things at 7 o'clock. You know, to workshop explaining the familiar pyramid, which is another vision of mine, and a little bit more about expanding this particular vision, and bringing it into reality, so that maybe we'll help the planet. It's like doing something, taking action, moving something forward, that can maybe help the people. So thank you for your support if you can do that. I hope understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bianca. It was so beautiful. It's incredibly moving. Didn't you feel that? I was looking at that. It just really hit me. I understood that symbol. It activated something even more in me. And that's what's so critical about symbols and about these symbols 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, and whatever symbols you may be working on. You know, what's so beautiful is this amazing person is activated himself, and through his learning and curiosity and understanding, he's activating himself and then putting it out in his artwork, and then these community events and gatherings, and just by sharing this, you're activating each other. We're all making it happen. So thank you so much. I just want to mention it's a dinner break, and if you want to come back a little bit before 7, Shirley Falstaff will be sharing some information with us. So to all of you in the interweb land, greetings, welcome, and please join us in about 45 minutes. Thank you.